Hi guys, I thought I would do a quick share on how to set up a simple Vagrant Virtualbox lab to help you practice your CKA exam questions. The versions of software I'm using for this video are: for VirtualBox I'm using 6.1.22, and for Vagrant I'm using 2.2.16. In this video, I will go over the basic settings required to get a simple Kubernetes lab set up and running on your machine. However, I will not be going over the installation of Vagrant and VirtualBox, but I've shared the link to a very good video that introduces beginners to Vagrant in the comment section. This video also assumes that you are familiar with Kubernetes and what it's used for. So I will not be going over the Kubernetes setup itself, but just how to set up a lab with a master node and maybe 2 or 3 worker nodes to get a lab up and running. This will give you a quick lab to practice your CKA requirements. I will do a quick overview of the Vagrantfile, which is necessary to get your lab up, and I will also go over the basic components that are used within the Vagrantfile. Now let's get to the steps to set up the lab. First of all, I'm using a Mac for this tutorial, so if you're on Windows, I apologize. Maybe you need to check up on how you can get the commands running. It's pretty similar actually. I'm sure there are more videos on how to get Vagrant running on Windows. You can probably look up one of them and find your way around. So over here I have my Mac command line, and I'm already in one of my folders, so you just need to create a folder for your project, and then just open a regular text file like so. That's all you need to do. I already have gone ahead and opened one already. The capitalization and spelling has to be exact. Please be careful of that. Next, I'm going to open this file in a text editor. I'm using VS Code on this Mac. You are free to choose any editor of your choice. And this is my Vagrantfile. Now, as you can see, I've opened 4 tabs and I have Vagrantfile 1, 2, 3 and the final Vagrantfile. By default, usually a lab is open using a single Vagrant file, but there is a way to open specific Vagrant files, which I will share with you shortly. So I start off with the Vagrantfile 1, the first edition. Let me go over the components. Now this line over here basically means you are using Vagrant version 2. I will not be covering Vagrant version 1 on this video. For a complete reference on all the settings used in this Vagrant file, please check the reference link that I've given in the comment section. Now let me start with the first parameter, which is the config vm.box. It's quite self-explanatory. This line basically tells Vagrant which box or which Vagrant image to use. I will provide a link for this box. Now this is my own box. I built it using another Ubuntu 18.04 lean version. I've already pre-installed all the software that you need to get Kubernetes set up, barring the Kubernetes kubeadm init file, which actually starts the whole setup. Every other software is pre-installed, so this will save you a lot of time when you download the box. I will leave a link for this if you are free to download it and use it. If not, if you specify a different box or a different image, then you will be responsible for installing and setting up the software needed for Kubernetes setup. So this is basically what you would need in order to get a single machine going up. Okay, so let's look at the next parameter, which is the host name. Again, self-explanatory. This just sets the host name for the machine that you're going to bring up. The next line basically just tells Vagrant which network in your system to use. Now, I'm not going to go over the VirtualBox complete settings and all that. I'm sure you can find a beginner's video to learn how to use VirtualBox. But I will show you just for this line how you can get a simple host network setup so that you don't run into any issues. Now, if I just bring up VirtualBox, if you go to VirtualBox file, and you will be able to see host network manager. As you can see, I have a whole list of host only networks. So all you need to do here is just create and alter this region to suit the network that you want or the network that you need. I'm just basically using increments of 10. It's just convenient for me. So what you can do is just edit this portion and don't forget to apply. I don't know, for some reason you have to do it twice. Then on the DHCP, if you need DHCP server or service, feel free to activate it. Otherwise, you can manually supply the IP addresses. And that's it. That's all you need. So just remember the network parameter, and then just specify it accordingly here. Alright. Now, the next line basically tells Vagrant how to port forward the SSH service so that we can log into our machine after it's created. My habit is always to create a larger number for the port number so they don't have a clash. What I usually do is start off with 2 and the first digit of my first subnet, and the last 2 digits are the IP address of the machine itself. That's my convention. Please feel free to edit this any way you like. I always use this setting just in case. In case if I ever make a mistake and there's a clash of ports, Vagrant will auto fix the SSH login port for you. Okay. Now this small block of code here basically tells Vagrant how to configure your machine in VirtualBox. Basically, it's self-explanatory as well. How much memory, how many CPUs, and the name of the machine. And that's it, guys. This is the very basic Vagrant file that you would need to actually get a machine up and running. So let's see whether we can get a machine to run based on this file without any issues. Let me get the command line. So if you looking at the video, this is Vagrantfile 1. Now I did say that I will show you how to run a specific Vagrant file if you have more than one. All you need to do is specify Vagrant_Vagrant file in caps, followed by the location of your file, and you just need to initiate Vagrant up. So let's see if the Vagrant file that we created earlier successfully brings up a machine. So as you can see, it's correctly booting up and it's loading the image that we specified. I'm going to speed up and then come back to this video again. Okay, the machine seems to be up. Let's check our Vagrant file. So we specified this image, the name is test, and we've given it the IP of 60.10. Let's see if we can SSH into the machine. So the way you log into the machine would be SSH. We are using the default user called Vagrant, and then specify the IP address and password, and there it is, guys. We have successfully logged into our Ubuntu machine. Okay, now let's get back to the Vagrant file. Let's try the next variation where I will attempt to change the name of the file, the host machine, and we will try to decouple this code block so that we can get it to work for us by creating multiple machines. So let's have a look at the next file. So I've gone ahead and changed the settings. So if you look at the difference, the only difference is we have defined this line here compared to the earlier one. What we've basically done is changed this line with the name of the host machine that we are trying to configure. So we've actually moved this block inside of another block that actually does the definition of the machine that you want to create. In this case, my machine is called control. So I have a config VM define control do the necessary configuration for the machine called control. Then I've taken the base config block and put it inside this block. So take note of the indentation and follow exactly. I normally use 2 spaces and it never goes wrong. So we still have the main Vagrant configure file and the corresponding end for that block, and within that block we have now decoupled the main VM definition file by specifying a separate config definition for the control machine, and then specifying a separate block for the control machine's specifications. Right? So that's what you need to configure a separate machine. Right? Let's see if this file works without any issues. Check my directory and I will specify what file is that. That's Vagrantfile 2. And as you can see, Vagrant immediately recognizes that this is a new file, and the new machine is called control. right? So it works. This is just because I already have another machine with the same name. I did not bother to change the name, so that's why you see this machine error. Otherwise, you will not see this error. Right, so this means that our decoupling is successful. Okay, so now let me get the third version where we will attempt to modify this file in order to allow us to run a second machine. So if you can look at this code block, if this is one machine, it just means that I just have to copy and paste this entire block a second time and then make the adjustments. If you thought so, it's exactly right. So that's exactly what I've done here. I've just copied this entire block, repeated it here, this entire block plus the end, and all I have done is I've just edited the name to reflect the second machine's host name, and don't forget to change the IP address, guys. So I went ahead to create another network and I put the two machines on a separate network like so, right? Don't forget to save. And for the second machine, which is just the worker node, we don't really need that much of resource. So I just went ahead and reduced the resource, right? So now, technically, we should get two machines if this file is successful. Now let's try that out. So this is Vagrantfile version 3. So there's an error. I need to change the notation. So I intentionally showed that error because I ran into an issue where Vagrant doesn't like me using the hyphen. So what I will do is, if you press Command key and highlight, you can change all occurrences at one shot. What I will do is, that's it. There's a mistake there. Sorry about that. Let me just check everything. Yep. So everything looks good. Yeah, let me save the file. Let me issue the same command again. Yep. So you see, guys, right? So it looks like both our machines are up. So I'm going to go ahead and use Command T to open a separate terminal. One more. So based on our Vagrant file, the IP we gave the control machine is 70.10. So I'm going to SSH Vagrant at 192.168.70.10. Yes, and Vagrant as the password. Yes. So guys, you can see we have the IP here, right? It's machine 1, which is control 1. Now let's take a look at the second machine. Up arrow. Oh, no. No, that's fine. I'll just type out the command. 2.168.70.20. Yes. Password Vagrant. Oh, in case you're wondering, I just left it at the default password of Vagrant, which is just small case VAGRANT. So this is the second machine. So guys, within 2 minutes, you have a quick lab with 2 nodes, right? So I'm just going to show you one more last edit right here now. So I'm going to copy this entire block and paste it again here. Now this is the third machine, and we're going to edit this. Oh no, okay. We got to edit it separately. Quick one. I did say that this is a beginner's video, so I'm going as simple as possible and as slow as I can, so that newbies coming into Vagrant and Virtualbox don't find it too difficult to follow, right? I did not go into using a loop to create the machines. I just wanted to show a simple setup so that you can just copy and replicate and get a quick lab up anytime. Now, I have tried running this setup on the on a Windows laptop with just 4 or 6 gigabytes of RAM with 2 or 3 cores, 2 or 4 cores, and it runs fine. Except for the time when it downloads the box image for the first time. After that, it will be stored in your system, and the startup will be much more faster. So let's save this file. So I get an opportunity to show you another command. Using the same file, we want to destroy, which is to delete everything. So as you can see, once I edited the Vagrant file, Vagrant automatically senses that there's another machine, but we did not create it, right? So let's Vagrant up this file. Yes, so as you can see, we have successfully brought up a control machine with 2 nodes. So guys, as you can see, Vagrant successfully brought up all our 3 machines. Now I'm just going to confirm that and show you that we can log into each one of them. Right, this is the control machine. This one is the second one, the node 1. And because this is a new machine, it's asking for the key insertion. Yeah, there you go. So control Node 1, Node 2. So guys, I just want to say this final thing. After you've done with your editing for the different Vagrant files, all you need to do is combine everything into your final file and just call it Vagrantfile, which I've done here. It's basically the exact same configuration we had in Vagrantfile 3. I pasted it on the final Vagrant file, right? So when you just have a single Vagrant file, Vagrant by default looks for Vagrant file, just capital V Agrantfile, just this file. Even if you have multiple files existing in the directory. At that point, you don't have to specify this parameter anymore. All you would need is just Vagrant up. And as you can see, it's the same setup with the one master node and two worker nodes coming up again. Now guys, after your lab comes up, I just wanted to share a few more commands that you will find useful. Now, within the command line, you can actually issue Vagrant status. This will show you the names and the number of machines running on the system currently. As you can see, we brought up 3 machines and they're all in running state. Right? Now, after you get your lab running, just to save time, when you're done with your work, you don't really need to issue Vagrant halt or destroy to delete your entire lab. You can just pause it. How do you do it? You just issue Vagrant suspend. And Vagrant will save the state and all the settings within each VM for you. And what if you want to start your lab back up when you're ready to work on it? Simple. Just issue Vagrant resume. There you go. And in less than half the time, by using suspend and resume, you can get your lab back up again quickly for you to work on it. So that's it guys. I thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful and meaningful to you as it was for me. I wish you all the best in your CKA exams and happy labbing. Thank you.